Hey, I'm Darren with Arbitrage Trade, and this is After the Bell. My guests are Daniel Hopwood, ex-institutional guy, boo, and our founder and CEO, Royce Wells. Yay, he pays my bills. We have several topics we're going
That's
to cover
terrible.
today. And I know. It is what it is, though. That's why I smile. It is what it is. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, something around that topics we're going to cover today. And we have unique perspectives. I didn't tell you who I was as far as what I do, but I'm the social media coordinator here, and I'm also an ex, maybe not ex, but an ape, a retail trader. So I try to offer my perspectives, which can be very interesting and maybe controversial to some of you. So, first segment is Tale of the Tape, and our specific subject we're discussing is that everything is green. Everything is, all the pastures are green. There's no poop in it, and we're just walking around and just going higher and higher on the hill. Why is this?
Everything is
Uh,
awesome. I believe the movie said.
Everything is awesome. I don't have the soundboard to cue and play that song. Thank goodness. But
Right?
yes, everything is awesome. You won't step on poop or Legos in that field.
No,
So
not at all.
let's do this. Let's start off with Daniel. What are your thoughts on why everything is just? And by the way, today it was green again because the Fed said that we're going to stay right where we are, and the only thing that'll make us do cuts at this point, which they said, would be if employment gets bad. So go right ahead, Daniel.
Yeah, I mean, I think having read a lot in the last few weeks is that there's just no real smoking gun to make people want to go the other way, right? Like inflation still came in a little hot, job numbers are good. So as long as that keeps going, they're honestly not going to cut until things maybe start to shake a little. And when we're at, 3.2%, I believe, of inflation instead of 2, there's still a little bit to go. And we even saw, I believe it was today or yesterday, that for the first time ever, or not ever, in the last 17 years, the Japanese bank just raised their rates to zero. So now there are no negative interest rate or central bank interest rates left in the world. So, and I think it was in the last, since when Japan kind of collapsed in the markets, the 80s, they finally have returned to their previous highs.
Oh, that's
So,
nice.
there are things are, they're ripping. And unless you're Tesla, they're not looking good if you're Tesla.
You had a marginal increase today, but who's watching? How about you, Mr. CEO, payroller, everything at the company? What do you think is going on here? Why is it just always green, no matter if bad news is bad news or good news is good news? It's always just green.
Hey, it's like they said, using physics. I'm a mathematician, right? So an object in motion will remain in motion. Why change the status quo if everyone's still going up? Let it just keeps going up. Probability will expand indefinitely if it maintains the same speed. So yeah, there's no reason, like Dan said, there's no smoking gun. As long as there's no smoking gun, they can't blame anyone. So business as usual. Let's make money.
All right, guys. I don't really have anything to add to that, at least this time. Um,
Oh,
yeah, I
two
know.
against
I
one.
know.
I think
Don't pull it
yeah.
out of me. I know. They're against me, guys. Remember, I'm broadcasting out of my basement, according to Gasparino. Okay, hi Gasparino. How you doing, Charles? Chucky. Foreign exchange. Let's talk about forex, which is what we specialize in here at Arbitrage Trade and the Bitcoin ETF. Speaking of things that just kept going up and up and up, and just didn't seem like there was a top. And as we near the halving, I always hate saying that, halving. There was 10 billion in inflows, and so where does this stop? We'll start with you, Royce. Where does this Bitcoin craze stop?
Well, that a lot depends on basically supply and demand. This is foreign exchange. So basically, all you're doing is taking money from one person's pocket and putting it in another, right? You're just exchanging currency. So I think the huge influx, I just think we've seen the biggest boon in Bitcoin as a rally. So lots of volatility, right? And basically, once again, if you can maintain your speed, life's good. It's good. But if you start to slow down at all, you start to see the chinks in the armor, And then that means if one person starts to take profit, then the next person starts to take profit. You just get a whole slide. It just becomes a waterfall, and people taking them profit and then looking for their next entry for the ride. I mean, you get to the bottom of the water slide, you want to get back on. So it means you got away with your money. Let's see if we can get more. And back to Daniel's point about Japan, they have a positive interest rate right now. Well, currently, Japan has been losing to everyone. Australia, New Zealand, Europe, US. Basically, everyone's been beating up Japan. With this shift in the interest rate, maybe Japan's going to come out swinging now.
So
I mean, we love a good ZERP environment, you know. Japan's finally at 0 instead of negative, so we know.
Well, actually, not to be, not to be picky, but it's 0.1% is the actual.
I'll take it. That's even
positive.
better than negative 0.1. You know,
progress.
Our fact check department just called in and said that was 0.1. All right. Do you have anything else to add then, Daniel, on that, or?
No. I mean, I think Roy's just spot on. You know, we saw towards the end of last week or midweek, things were, you know, we touched 73,000 in Bitcoin. And I believe today there was a quick, drop down to about 60 and it's since risen back to 63, 65. And, to Royce's point, something that can stay in motion will. But when it gets so hot and so, vertical, it has to come back down and correct anyway. And I think part of that was due to, I believe I saw Ethereum has some kind of investigation, which I have to imagine is regarding around them being a security and not a currency, since they are they have a centralized group that controls the technology. So I have to imagine at the end of the day, it probably won't be a big deal, but it's one of those news events that
can make a big wedge.
Market action. Yeah.
So what's the date?
So we'll have to see how that one plays out.
Just remind everybody when the halving date is.
I don't know exactly.
Yeah. But it's coming up. It's coming up. It's approaching.
It's definitely coming up, and I know
it's cut in half, right?
So basically, they release another batch of it, and I think the last halving is in May. So at the end of May 2025, we should have all of Bitcoin in circulation. There'll be no more Bitcoin to mine, and then the demand should go through the roof because there's no more supply. So that if we're going to talk about Bitcoin hitting 100,000, that may be that point.
Gotcha.
Looks like the next one's April 20th, so exactly a month from.
All right, get your taxes done, and then watch your Bitcoin rise. All right, and then pay more taxes.
To the moon, baby.
Yes. Hey, that's our line, not yours. We're the one that says
laser eyes all the way.
Yeah, that's right.
Jackie,
all right, let's move on quickly.
Bring that back.
Let's move on quickly before they make fun of me. Stock exchange in general. Yeah, you see that they laughed a little too genuine there. All right, we have stock exchange subjects coming up here. Boeing, let's talk about Boeing. It seems like it's raining planes or plane parts. So they continue to have issues. What's going on there? Is it maintenance? Is it just lack of maintenance, or is it domestic terrorism? I mean, what is it? What's going on?
Yikes.
This reminds me of one of my old boss's favorite sayings of building the plane as you fly it. And I think they're taking it a little too literally and forgetting to continue to build the plane. I think they've a lot of this scrutiny has come down to they did so well in the past and they've lobbied so much for reduced regulation that this is kind of the result of that. And I don't know if you guys saw it, but this morning they were talking about selling off some of their assets in their defense division to cover the losses that they're currently facing, which is pretty big news, right? Because that could potentially entail their space unit, which would competes with SpaceX, to whatever degree it competes. But it's a big future revenue stream for them. So whatever is going on is definitely starting to heavily impact them, considering airlines are we don't want to take delivery. We want to go to Airbus, which also another thing crazy that there's only Boeing and Airbus really that make
Monopoly or
commercial jets.
monopoly? We don't
It's
have
like
monopolies.
kind of insane. So
Well, I don't. Is there anything to add to that, Royce? I don't know. That seems
Well,
pretty
from
straightforward.
from my point of view, I think
Yeah.
it may even be sort of like AMC, right? Give them all bad news, get everybody to not want it, and then next thing you know, bam, it skyrockets. Like I believe uh, Buffett says, "Hey, when everyone else is scared to buy, why wouldn't you? Basically, be there. If you use it every day and it's in the news all the time, why wouldn't you buy it?"
Right. Right.
be greedy
There's a
when others
reason.
are fearful, and
Yeah,
fearful
be
when others
greedy
are
when
greedy.
others are fearful.
That's right. That's right. Well, it's also because the funds have all their money in lower price. And anyway, we won't get into that either right now. But let's move on to Tesla. Elon Musk, Tesla, EV versus gas. And there was a news bit today. Biden and his administration are enforcing some regulations. So they're putting regulations out there now that there's a window between 2027 and 2032 that you have to have, I believe, and again, this is just generic. It may not be the exact facts, but it's around 60% of the car makers have to be EV. And so where I felt like they pulled back for a little bit on that because votes were being lost, I think. Now I feel like for some reason today they come out with this and are going back to the really enforcing. And this time it's about tailpipes, believe it or not. That's the way they're going to get people to have to switch because of emissions from the tailpipe.
Emissions, yeah, I could see
Yes.
that. But they did shift the window. I thought previously it was by 2030. So now if it's 2032, they added 2 more
Right.
years to the plan.
They did, and you notice it's after they're gone. We'll
Imagine
enforce
that.
after we're gone.
I
Kinda
have
sounds
a
like the
good
budgets,
feeling
right?
That's going to be a can that'll be continue to be kicked down the road, just like
Everything
raising the debt ceiling.
Yes.
What ceiling?
Exactly, it's glass.
That sky's the limit. Oh man. All right. Well, anything else to add with that? With is there more than? I don't think it's just that though. There's competition from China, right?
There's competition from
And
China. There's other new
yeah,
batteries and stuff that are coming out as well. That it's really expensive to mine lithium, right? So
Especially when China
finding
owns all the mines.
alternative
Right.
and cheaper
Right.
ways to produce electric cars, yeah, that could definitely be hitting their bottom line as well. Not to mention their mega factories. Anyone hear
Mhm.
about those? I know there was one that was in China, and they were building like 5 or 6 of them, and I think they've settled for only 3 or
Mhm.
4.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Definitely a reduction. Batteries is where it all is, right? Because you have to pay about a third of what you pay for the entire car to replace a battery. Is that about right?
yes. If the battery
Yeah.
goes bad, you just may as well buy a new car.
And then, of course, the infrastructure is just really not there here as well. And then once it gets cold, that's a whole nother issue. And of course, all
crank
these
amp?
stories.
What?
Yeah. Okay. I've got my winter car and I've got my rest of the year car.
Yeah, you
Sorry
got a
if you
good
live up
Ford
north
runner
in
for the
Canada.
winter, and what will eventually be your BYD because they're only $11,000 for your summer car.
Yes. Those margins are still killing these major car like GM and Ford. They're not profitable. I don't see how they're going to be profitable making them.
Well, if you
They're
ask the
reliable.
Biden administration, the CEO of GM is the reason for the EV car revolution.
That's it. I know it. He
When-
cannot mention the word Elon Musk.
That was a great joke. I thought it was an SNL skit.
Hey, we'll start our own skits here. I'll give you some script and we can do it.
Right.
So anything else to add to that, EV?
Yeah, I mean, I think just with
Okay.
like on especially Tesla's performance, like such a big because I was reading about it earlier because I was looking at having like a long position in it, is that they just have so much headwind from reduced sales because of reduced customer interest for EVs as a whole worldwide. And then on top of that, the competition they're seeing from China with BYD just being able to sell their cars for so cheap. And currently in America, not having any tariffs against them. I mean, like maybe in the future, but no time soon is Tesla going to be able to make an $11,000 car, right?
Right.
And I've heard in
Well, they can
from
make
another
them. They'll be cheap.
yeah, I mean, you
They'll
know,
be
but you know, their stock
amazingly
prices can go
cheap.
down more than 60% from the peak they've had. And you know, with the way Chinese companies are, they can lose money for a while before they ever have to worry about turning a profit. So I think that is probably, other than any other government regulation stuff, like major headwind they face.
I could see that. I could see that. Yeah,
All
it's
right.
just
Well, we've
tough,
got.
but hey, we'll get
Yeah.
there. We'll get there.
First of all, I want to apologize.
I have faith.
Yeah, I have a chair that swivels, and I could tend to do this a lot. So I'm sorry. I'm trying to work on that. Tomorrow is Reddit Day, so this IPO, which the media is really trying to push, because they hate all the memesters. The media is really trying to push this one as a meme stock, and I'm not sure what their strategy is. If it is to, who knows what's going to happen? I kind of want to see it as it opens, and see if it goes at the beginning, and then it gets followed up by the funds. Yeah, so because they offered people that actually are originators of Reddit, right? They offered them some stock, right?
Yeah.
Pretty cheap. So those guys get a bunch, and then once it opens, shoot up, and then bam, just the floor hits. That's my prediction, but none of us are financial advisors.
The crazy thing about IPOs, though, when you have that type of Class A stock, you can't sell it for like 60 days. So you may see an initial up and down, and then people being very opportunistic and trying to basically time their entry. But for the people who have it and have to wait 60 days, well, we'll check back in May and see how they're feeling. How about that?
Totally forgot about that. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
I will say too that I read that they were well oversubscribed into the IPO. So there's obviously demand for it. But I think after a quarter or two of earnings, there's been some issues with pretty much their revenue, and they're still hemorrhaging cash, right? Just about $1 billion.
Yeah.
But I mean, how many companies have done that for long periods of time before they ever turned profitable? Amazon, and still had an upward stock price. But this is a less sexy, Facebook, Pinterest, if you will. And can they turn the ship? Absolutely. Is it coming out that way? Like, no. And with it being, the king of meme stocks, honestly, because it's the platform of meme stocks, it'll honestly just be super interesting to see how it trades.
I'd love to see it. I honestly think that in the end, the pump and dump, there's going to be volatility all over the board on this guy. So be careful, but if you're going to play, but I just want to watch the fireworks.
Do you think meme coins are volatile?
Popcorn and watch. All right, we'll move on to some macro factors.
Do you got? Hold on one second. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. Do you know if they're going to come out with options day one?
I don't know.
Because that's the other thing, right? With your market cap, if you come out with options, that's additional cash revenue. So it means like, hey, you can do all kinds of stuff to your stock price.
Well,
as long as those options continue to pay you.
Yeah, this retail guy in the basement says that that's one of the main reasons and how things are manipulated so much. But I shall be quiet and just say that. So whenever they can add options to anything, especially at every 50 cents, and I'm still waiting for when they do it every 10 cents, they will do it. They will do it, just like the prices, the what is it, 100,000ths of a dollar? I don't know what they go down to now, but it's just crazy the fractional prices that are out there for them just to go back and forth that the retail can't get it at that price. It's nuts. Moving on, sorry for the aside. Macro factors. We talked about JPOW, which I don't know. That kind of sounds too much like J-Lo. I gotta say,
I was never drawing the comparison. Right. Thank you for that, Darren.
Yeah, you're welcome. Visual now in your dreams tonight. So there's been an update to this. today, actually, that the inflation data, like you said, we kind of covered this earlier when we talked about the macro earlier, but I mean, we talked about 3%, and I still say there's going to be a major bump once it hits 2.9, just because it went under 3, and we're in the 2s now.
That'll make the news.
And Goldman Sachs says that it'll be June for the first cut. Nice plug. And I just think I don't think anybody knows. I mean, are we still is two cuts what everybody's saying still, or 3, or there's still a chance for 4? I don't. What is it?
I saw last night it was 3, but I think it really just depends how the numbers come in, and how close
they've been data dependent for 3 years now. I think is what they keep saying. We're data dependent.
Yeah, right. That put us in a good position.
Right. So I think the only time they're going to start cutting. This is just an opinion, of course. They're going to start cutting when things get bad, and it's not going to be because things are getting good. It's going to be because things are getting bad. That's just my own personal opinion on that.
Well, I think it was kind of wise of them, and this is just from putting the economic hat on, right?
Right.
If your interest rate is too low, then you have no levers to pull when things get bad. So basically, you say for a rainy day, raise the interest rate so that way you'll have levers to pull when things really do get bad to basically make people's quality of life still remain about the same. So I think it was a good move on the front end to raise the interest rates. And let's hope it was just for a fake rainy day and not a real one.
I agree too. I just think it was a good idea that they dropped to 0, but they took too long to re-raise again. And I think that was pretty apparent as they try to catch up in the back half. But, Darren, I'll put on my tinfoil hat for you. I think
I need to get a prop. I need to get a prop for this. Go ahead.
I think we really do. Just like whenever
it would be funny, actually.
Tinfoil thing, we just all have a tinfoil hat. But regardless of how economic, conditions come out, I think if the election runs close, that you see them cut rates to keep a particular person in or out of office.
They've already started trying to do that, I think.
Yeah, like
I think that's why cans are kicked.
The $500 million bond that Trump needs to come up with that nobody will give him money for.
Wait a minute, this is not a political show.
Hey, I'm just saying, I saw it on the news at the gym. Okay, I was like, that's a big number.
Yeah, it is.
Everybody cut to a commercial.
Yes. Just all of a sudden, transition, click. They're considering I'm hearing some whispers, as they say, that he may just let the thing go, the whole building go. So I don't know how much that saves him, but it might be an option.
Hey, it's a good write-off if he does.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Anything else you guys would like to add? I mean, before we get to the final exchange, still got to get that soundboard.
We'll get there. This is the first one. This is an inaugural, right?
It is. I don't think we got heated enough. We got to get more heated. I don't know.
Oh.
So overall thoughts, where are we today? Where are we today? And where will we be next Wednesday? So what are y'all's thoughts? What's going to happen in the next week to change things?
Up into the right, baby.
Up into the right still?
That's where he's going. I'm saying exactly the opposite. Whatever happens, whenever they bring out news, it's a knee-jerk reaction in the opposite direction. We are so green today. I'm saying tomorrow it's going to be blood. There's going to be blood.
Last 2 days. Yeah. There's got to be profit taking.
There's going to be blood in the streets. Everything that went up, foreign exchange wise, is going to fall, and everything like we saw Japan make a major jump today, at least basically versus everyone else. I think they're going to reverse. I think the dollar is going to continue up, and if the dollar is going up, that means the stock market it's going to go revisit 505. I'm just going to put that number out there, 505.
Gotcha. Okay, so we have Daniel says it's going up, just like a perfect institutional investor would say, and then no matter what, and we have a CEO that says it's going down. There's going to be fire. There's going to be people
There's
who
gonna
wake
be
up, and
fire.
it's just time. It's just time. So I guess my point is just right in the middle. Just they're going to keep kicking the can, and we'll stay right in the middle, just so we'll have 3 different viewpoints on that. So, anything else to add before we close this shenanigans? No,
No.
you've spoken all your
$5
pieces.
bet, friendly wager.
Oh wow,
$5 bet.
$5 bet.
Closest
Let's
to-
go.
closest
All right.
to.
Well, okay. So what? Okay, hold on. We gotta go.
Yeah, we got to get the numbers. All right, please, somebody
All right,
document.
all
It'll be
right, all right.
documented.
So market's closed. It's Wednesday, March 30th. It closed
March 20th.
March 20th. It closed at 520.48.
Okay.
So I'm taking the over. So anything over 520, Royce is taking the under. Darren, you hold us
See,
to
that
it.
doesn't. That leaves me a very small little. You guys
No,
can't take
Darren,
that
you're the
much
moderator.
space.
You can hold us to it. You can hold us to it.
Okay,
Right.
but then I win if it's within
If it stays at
5
520.
of each side. If it's right here to the next week, so that's a
I'll
tough
give you
one.
I'll give you 2 bips either way.
Okay, so two, and we'll say I'll go for 2.5, and so 2.5 up or 2.5 down, then I'm right, and then anything over 2.5 down, then Royce is right, and anything
I have
2.5
a call
above,
but you
Daniel's
have a
right.
battle, so.
Well, you know what they say: if you really mean it, then you'll put your money where your mouth is. But I guess we sort of
Right.
did with the friendly
I
bet.
don't have enough money to play SPY options.
Talk to your boss. All right. All right, guys. Hey, I enjoyed it. Let's do this again next Wednesday. And just want to remind everybody we are not financial advisors and we do not give financial advice. We just give our opinions and
Do your own
the
research.
information. Yes,
Yep.
do your own research and which the apes love. We call it DD. And
Due diligence.
due diligence. Thank you. Of course, there's other names for that, but we won't go there. The information provided here is surely for entertainment, hopefully. And if not, at least educational purposes.
Yeah.
And we will see you next week. See you, Royce.
All right.
See
ya.
you, Daniel. Bye.